Hello and welcome to a quick preview and a basic guide to the Siegecrafter Blackfuse encounter, which is the 12th encounter in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid instance. For this encounter, you will want to bring 2 to 3 healers, 2 tanks, and 5 to 6 DPS. As far as we could tell, we were not aware of any enrage timer, and we believe that the enrage is the encounter's abilities. However, it is probably around 8 to 12 minutes. Siegecrafter Blackfuse is an angry goblin who controls a giant shredder machine. Let's first talk about his basic mechanics. Firstly is Saw Blade. Saw Blade is a blade that Siegecrafter throws at a random ranged target, and it is easily avoidable. The Saw Blade will deal 500,000 damage to any player or automated shredder that comes into its path. We'll talk more about this ability later. Siegecrafter has a basic tank debuff called Electrostatic Charge. Electrostatic Charge will deal 250,000 initial damage to its target, as well as applying a debuff that will increase the damage taken by the next Electrostatic Charge by 100%, and will also increase the damage done to any automated shredders that have the reactive armor debuff. Reactive armor is a passive buff that the automated shredders will receive once spawning that will cause them to take 90% less damage. Automated shredders are robotic adds that will come into the fight within the first 20 seconds or so. Their main ability is Overload. Overload will cause 150,000 damage to everybody that isn't on the conveyor belt at the time, and it will also increase the damage taken by the next ability by 10% per stack. Automatic Repair Beam is cast at any shredder within 35 yards of the boss and will heal the shredder for 5% of its HP for every 3 seconds. This mechanic helps prevent stacking the boss and his shredder. One of the most crucial mechanics of the fight is his conveyor belt. His conveyor belt will have 3 weapons, all of which will start on the west side conveyor belt and will eventually travel across the belt to the east side conveyor belt. Once it reaches the east side conveyor belt without being killed, it will cause the weapon to become active. However, you may only disable 1 weapon at a time, and the other 2 will become active. You want to send 1 to 2 DPS on the conveyor belt to help disable one of the weapons. You can pick or choose based on your raid, but we will recommend one after we describe them each. The first weapon is called Laser Turret. It casts a fire trail that targets a specific member, and standing in that fire will cause the superheated debuff. It will deal 96,000 damage per second for 10 seconds and will stack up to 20 times. The second ability is Shockwave Missile Turret. Shockwave Missile Turret will cause a circle of drill bits that will change in position, moving forward and backward in the room, causing 385,000 damage to anyone standing in its path. This mechanic is very similar to the Protectors of the Endless mechanic in the Terrace of the Endless Spring raid instance, or the World in Flames mechanic from Ragnaros Heroic. The last mechanic is the last weapon is Electromagnet. It will pull everyone towards it, but also the saw blades. We would recommend that you disable the Shockwave Missile Turret and enable the electromagnet to dispose of the saw blades and the laser turret, as it is easily avoidable. The last mechanic is Crawler Mines. The Crawler Mines will fixate on a specific target and will explode on impact with that target. But for 1 minute after they spawn, they are rootable and snareable. However, the saw blades will easily kill them very quickly, so kiting them into the saw blades will quickly deal with the mechanic. Let's go into the strategy for how you will want to deal with this encounter. On the pull, you will want to start with the tank that you intend tanking the automated shredder tanking first. He will pull the boss back near the front of the room. The ranged DPS and the healers will stand in the middle of the big circle of the room with a loose spread. After the tank takes 2 stacks of the electrostatic charge, or the automated shredder spawns, the off-tank should taunt. The tank that will pick up the shredder should go 35 yards away from the boss on either side, preferably by the east. Your DPS should switch to the shredder and kill it as quickly as possible. Keep in mind that the saw blades will deal 500,000 physical damage to the shredder, so remember that you are able to run them into it and it will be very beneficial to your raid group. As soon as the shredder dies, you will want your main tank to taunt the boss back, and the off tank will grab the next shredder, switching like this for the entirety of the encounter to ensure that no tank gets his electrostatic charge debuff too high. Once weapons start moving across the conveyor belt, send up 1 to 2 DPS to kill the shockwave missile turret. It will be moving across the conveyor belt, and you will be having to run at the same time, so sending a class like a warlock or a hunter that can cast while moving will be very beneficial. After this ad is dead, the other 2 will be shielded, preventing you from attacking them at all, and will move to the east side to be enabled. We would recommend using your Bloodlust on the pull or at the end of the encounter, since there are no damage increasing factors. All in all, this fight is simply a mechanics fight. It is very easy once you learn how to deal with each of the mechanics properly, and shouldn't be too difficult to handle on the live servers with a little bit of practice. Keep in mind, this was only a preview for the 5.4 PTR, and on live, these mechanics may possibly change. As always, good luck and have fun.